two great Sufi poets, Mevlana Rumi and Yunus Emre. The Turks, who organized many expeditions in Anatolia in history, migrated to Anatolia in small communities in ancient times. These migrations were not very large scale and were small steps for other migrations to be later. After the victory of Seljuks in 1071, Anatolia became a Turkish homeland. After this date, military, political and cultural activities have been accelerated the establishment of Turkish Islamic civilization in Anatolia. In addition to these activities, the disciples of Hoca Ahmet Yesevi, known as Khorasan Erenleri, Erens, dervishes of Khorasan, contributed to the Turkification and Islamization of Anatolia. In the madrasas and dervish lodges they contributed to the non-Muslim people's recognition of Turks and the moral maturation of the Turkish people. Helping the people in the region they traveled into in many areas, they also supported the material development of villages and cities. They were living in the society, not just only praying, not just only making zikr. They're living, they're fighting against kafirs. They were at the center of the society, living, and they are supporting people. The Erens of Khorasan, who conquered the hearts and made Anatolia a Turkish Islamic homeland and prepared the ground for the foundation of the Ottoman Empire, are of great importance in this respect. Mevlana Rumi left Balkh after the Erens of Khorasan and arrived in Konya in the 1220s with his family. And he established a Dergah lodge in Konya. Mevlana's lodge in Konya became a place where people benefited from Sufism and religious sciences. Yunus Emre also responded to Mevlana's invitation, "Come, come, whoever or whatever you are." Yunus Emre was about 25 years old when he went to Mevlana's lodge, and he stayed in this lodge for 8 years. After Mevlana's death, Yunus Emre, who participated in the construction of the Mevlana's tomb in a very sad situation, could not bear this sadness and decided to leave Konya. He informed Sultan Mevlana's son, of this thought, and he said, "Go, Yunus, go. You don't build tombs anymore. You build buildings of the heart." And so Yunus Emre set out to travel around Anatolia and other Turkish Islamic geographies. Mevlana and Yunus Emre's understanding of religion, mysticism, and ethics are very similar. The things they both enjoy, sadden, and regret are the same. The words and poems of the two great Sufis, who are nourished from the same source, are parallel to each other. The subjects they deal with in their poems, such as love, divine love, and life, are also very similar. We can say that there is only a language difference. While Yunus Emre speaks in Western Turkish, which was used in Anatolia, Mevlana speaks in Eastern Turkish accent. You can see that in history, the Turks lived in many areas. Our origin is Central Asia, northern Pakistan. You can see a lot of Turkish people over there. And nowadays, we can see a lot of Turkish people lives in Europe. About the last 20 or 30 years, Hungary says that we are originally Turks. They understood that they're Turkish. There comes from Huns, the Huns. And you know the name of that country is Hungary. Of course, that area, that geography is very, very wide. From northeastern Russia, Yakutsk, Yakutistan we call, those are Turkish people. And Finland, there are some villages, originally Turkish people lives there. Very wide area, and absolutely we can see that a lot of Turkish accents possible. It's like that Belh Khorasan is using Eastern accent, and in Anatolia, Yunus Emre was using Western accent. This difference is one of the factors why Mevlana mostly chose Persian as the language of his poetry. Considering people from various regions and using Persian, which was the predominant cultural language of the time, Mevlana differs from Yunus Emre, who uses Turkish, by considering the Turkish geography. Yunus Emre is one of the most important figures of Turkish civilization and Turkish culture, although his place of birth and date of birth are not known exactly. It is estimated that he was born in 1240 in Eskişehir. Unfortunately, there is no exact information about him, but according to the information in the Vilayetname Hacı Bektaş Veli, written in 1512, he was a farmer living in Eskişehir, Sarıköy. In order to find a solution during a period of famine, he goes to the dergah of Hacı Bektaş Veli. He was one of the dervishes, Erens of Khorasan, one of the important Sufis in the Anatolia, in Nevşehir, and stays there for a while. Then Hacı Bektaş Veli sent him to another Sufi master, Tapduk Emre. Yunus goes to the dergah of Tapduk Emre and tells him about his situation. Tapduk Emre says, "Welcome, your status was known to us. Serve and take your nasib, share here." Yunus Emre has served for his dergah about 40 years. Yunus's duty was only to carry wood to the dergah from forest. He never brought cooked wood to the dergah. When they asked the reason for this, he answered, "Something that is not right in this worthy of this door." His words and poems have a great contribution to the use of Turkish in the simplest and most magnificent way. In the years when Persian language reigned in the literary language, he spoke his words in Turkish and made his poems known even in the most remote places of Anatolia. The fact that Yunus Emre's poetry has been read and known for centuries is due to his simple of use and the fact that his words are beyond time and age, like Mevlana Celaleddin Rumi. His advice and words are still up to date today. Those very deep meanings in his poems are still impressive today. As it has been for centuries, it is a source of inspiration for alims, scholars, and arifs, sages today. One of the reasons why Yunus Emre, who wrote wise poems in Turkish, has many admirers in Anatolia and in the countries where Turks live, is that he reflects the value, judgments, feelings, and spiritual structure of Turkish society. His poems were so beloved that they have been composed into hymns and sung for centuries. Allah is at the center of Yunus Emre's poetry. The main subject of his poems is divine love. Yunus Emre deals with human beings in addition to his poems about divine love. In his poems, there is the existence of man, his struggle in the world, man's relationship with Allah, and man's effort to reach Allah. The concepts of Allah, man, and love take a very important place in his poetry. Your love has wrested me away from me. You're the one I need. You're the one I crave. Day and night I burn, gripped by agony. You're the one I need. You're the one I crave. The poem that begins with these verses is one of the most beautiful poems in which Yunus Emre speaks of divine love. The fact that those two great personalities have come together is a great chance for the Anatolian geography. The wise words of one are in Persian and the other in Turkish. But the main thing is not the language of the poem. The main point is the meaning. It is not the fact that Mevlana wrote in Persian and Yunus Emre wrote in Turkish, but the important thing is their meanings. When Yunus Emre saw Mevlana's 6-volume Mesnevi, he said, "You have written long. If I were you, I would say, I've been shaped in a flesh and bones and appeared as Yunus." This reveals the simplicity and splendor of his style. Mevlana mentions that Yunus Emre is ahead of himself in terms of mysticism, saying, "I found a trace of this great Turkman in front of me. Wherever I went to divine range, I couldn't pass him." This saying of Mevlana is guiding light for understanding the value of Yunus Emre. Yes. Thank you very much for listening to me.